Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the InGear Motorsport live stream. You join us tonight at the third and fourth rounds and the final rounds of our short Porsche Cup mini-series. I am Mackenzie, and next to me in the commentary box is Charlotte.
Back again.
And joining us for the first time officially in the commentary box tonight, we've got Mr. Kirk Heath / Jeff Badgers. How's it going tonight?
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm all right, how are you?
Yeah, really good.
All
Thank you.
good,
Looking forward to it. I really enjoyed the Porsche Cup races last week, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this week. We've got a couple of the regulars already. I think have not shown up yet, but there's already a strong enough grid for some pretty good racing. So pub was thrown in the mix. I think we've got quite a lot of stuff to look forward to. What about you, Charlotte? What are your thoughts towards tonight's racing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. I think the second race, not last week, the week before, because it was 2 weeks ago now, wasn't it? With this new sort of format that we're doing, I think the second race threw up some surprises in there, and it was a bit more dramatic. I'm hoping, is Jack Taylor in it today?
Not seen him yet.
Okay, well, if he is in it, then I hope he has a slightly less eventful last lap than he did last time. But
we did have Harry Melvin and Ryan Billingham, who were new last time out. They're committed. They're back with us for the final rounds to see out the championship, which is great. And then I could see the Stallmans and some of the usual suspects, Murray and so on, are in the serve already. But we'll find all of that out very shortly. Just for anyone that's not joined us before, we'll just take a bit of a look at the timings for what's coming up tonight. I can see Paulina has joined us before and has said hello in chat. Hello, Paulina, good to see you. So we run 2 races is our normal format. We do occasionally do something slightly different, but for the most part, it's this format you see right now. 2 30-minute races coming up tonight. Qualifying will be starting just about now, or will just have started, and then the drivers will be looking to go out for race 1 around 7:50 p.m. That wraps up. We have a little bit of a break around 8:20 for them to just regather their thoughts a little bit, get any tantrums out of their system, maybe whatever it might be. We're getting more and more of those these days, aren't we?
I know, it's getting a bit, Mackenzie's phone blows up a little bit after this, but it's all good. I think everyone calms down after a while, don't they?
Yeah, and it is all fun. So, and then race 2 at 8:55 p.m. and then we wrap up somewhere around 9:30 for the evening. So that's what's coming up on the timetable wise. Don't forget, if you have joined us before, or if you haven't, then you'll hear this for the first time, that you can actually influence the drivers' points in their little championship that's going on for this short 4-race championship by voting for your driver of the day about halfway through race 2 onwards. The driver with the most votes gets an extra championship point, so it's just a nice little touch. Mr. Kirk Heath's won one of those before. Don Stallman won it last week.
First time Don won it last week.
It was the first time he won it, yeah. So, he only had to win, I think, now our 3rd series we're on, or 2 series.
A bit like Perez, he waited a long time for it, but
yeah.
Got there.
So Kirk's going to be in the background helping us out and then joining us in and out of the commentary box as we go, but being able to look at some of the stuff that go in the race. But yeah, Kirk, tell us a bit about what you're going to be up to tonight.
Right, so I'll just be trying to keep an eye on things behind the scenes, looking at different cars that you particularly can't look at, and just keep an eye on the timings mainly, just see if people are putting in good laps, or keeping an eye on the gaps between drivers, if they're just about to have a good battle or not, so we can hop to them and just, see some of the good action that happens.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to having that. It's pretty chaotic to monitor sometimes, isn't it?
I was going to say, I think it's as the grid is getting closer and closer now in times, it's getting harder and harder to monitor. And we say this sort of regularly, but for anyone that's new that's watching, unlike normal motorsport commentary, we only see what you guys see. Obviously, we see it a little bit before you with the natural delay that there is, but yeah, we can only see what's on track. So to have you in the background is going to be really helpful to keep an eye on stuff that we're not looking at, because I think there's been some stuff over the last couple of races, haven't we? And we've had to go back and see what the score is. Race. Yeah, exactly.
So I think while we all chit chat, we should dive into qualifying, which is now 5 minutes gone, 10 minutes remaining. Mm-hmm. So. We'll see who's going where. Another new driver, actually, that I should mention is Robert Bjorkman, who Swedish driver, joined last race, as you said, 2 weeks ago now on the new format. For the first time, really strong showing, gave Mr. Stallman a run for his money. Just missed out on the last lap of the second race, which went down to the wire, which was really cool. And there's another driver, actually, that's name's just appeared for the first time now that we've jumped into the live session. Either of you guys heard of him before?
I was waiting for you to try and pronounce it. It's not our strongest thing.
Should we make Kirk do that?
Is this the one currently in P1?
P1, yeah.
Torsha.
Torsha, yeah.
Torsha, yeah, let's go with that.
That's actually probably an easy one. I think we overcomplicated that.
Okay, so yeah, we can see then Stallman's currently down in 4th in the car on your screen, number 92, Vega Sim Performance. or normally racing under Vegas in performance. Technically just a solo entry for this series because teammate Roland has decided to sit out on the Porsche Cup cars. Not a big fan of them, but
it was so nice to have. Yeah, I was going to say it was so nice to have Roland watching last week. Super good to have the support and keep an eye on what Don's doing and what he's getting up to.
And we do have a live timing feed up on InGearMotorsport.com. There's a button there to go towards the live timing. So I think it runs pretty much in sync with the stream, give or take 10 seconds. So it's pretty close to it. So you can follow along on there if you're trying to follow a certain driver or keep an eye on it. And we'll do our best, of course, to keep on track with it on the screen. Well, I would say Poleman's in the pits. Stallman's looked like he's pushing for a lap, and he's slightly up. So perhaps we jump on board with him and see what this Zandvoort circuit's like.
Commentator's purse, how how long are we giving it until that kicks in?
Yeah, I've not done actually a great amount around this track. I think you said you haven't either, have you?
No,
in the real
I've never. Yeah, it's been on my calendar a couple of times, and then for whatever reason.
There you go, everyone.
Yeah.
That's
right
what happens when we switch to an onboard.
Yeah. That's it.
I think Ben does it. He's race director Ben there in the background. Just got a button he presses that just eliminates rear grip on demand or something. But depends if he can put his can of Monster down for long enough to do that. He just said in my ear then, oh yeah, I need to get one actually. I'm really thirsty.
Yeah, and again for new viewers out there, we should probably introduce the fact that we have got Ben Meikle. Ben Meikle works really hard in the background to put the production together, along with obviously yourself, Mackenzie, and George, who works for the InGear media team. To be honest with you, I just woke up, don't I? About
yeah, I know you're loving life.
Before. But yeah, so Ben is keeping an eye to see on what the guys are up to. He can issue any penalties or anything. Like he is race director. He can basically play God if he wanted to with these guys' races. But he is very busy sorting out the stream in the background as well. So yeah, credit where it's due. Massive fan of Monster though, so we have to make sure he doesn't drink too much of it. One day we'll get that Monster sponsorship, Mackenzie.
I'll keep pushing for it.
Yeah.
Okay, right, we're on board with Bjorkman now then, who is 2/10 currently off a pole position. 7.5 minutes to go for this qualifying to determine the grid for race 1 tonight. As we said, 2 races coming up, and he's just crossing the start-finish line, heading down into turn 1. The famous Tarzan corner at the Zandvoort circuit. Nice big banked corner. That runoff never used to be there, so it used to be even more scary until they added that gravel trap runoff, but it's still not a place that you want to be. Very technical, twisty through these sections here. You just had to go a tad too fast and then you're off on the grass on the exit through one of these fast flowing sections. Again, a nice inward banked corner. Feel quite nice when you get the car hooked up through those types of turns. But as you can see, very little room for error around here, and there is then some solid arm cone that you would hit as well if you're not careful as we drop down the hill for a fast flowing section. You see it's blind in places as well. You're braking blind before you can see apexes. Again, look, a bit too wide, you're in gravel, which will just slow you right down. As another driver very politely actually gets out of the way as we're on this pole lap here. So Kirk, looking on then, who's your money on at the moment, would you say?
I think it's going to be very close between Bjorkman and Stallman, because I noticed from last week those two are actually very consistent in their performance. So I'm not sure yet about M. Torture, so he could be the underdog in this, so all bets are off at this point.
Yeah, and of course, Bjorkman and Stallman are both now competing in the series. So over the course of the 4 races, points are added up. Stallman's obviously in the lead at the moment, but if he was to have a particularly bad race and Bjorkman gets 2 very good races, then it's still to play for in that sense as well. So, Borg is in 4th, Michael Curran's down in 5th at the moment. Let's take a little, well, this lap's just coming to a close. Doesn't look like he's going to go faster this time, so I think we should drop back and see how Mr. Curran's getting on. First of the Scots at the moment, but it's the Germans and the Swedes at the front end of the grid at the moment. And Torsion, not going to guess where that name's particularly from. You want to say Dutch if we're at a Dutch circuit, but who knows? There we are, the Greg's Sausage Roll and Scottish flag branded Porsche Cup car. If you ever saw such a sight, there it is on your screens.
I think Curran's going to have a really good outing. Last time we were streaming and round 1 and 2 of this championship. He had, you know, a very strong performance, didn't he? And if we go back to the GT3 championship as well, he's been more than on pace. So we shall see. And is that? I was going to say, it looked like I need my glasses on. In P7 there, I was like, oh, we've got Perez that's rocked up.
Yeah, now he's conquered an F1 race win. He's here.
Yeah.
No, sadly that's an A Perez, not a S Perez. A few drivers in the pits then. Got to see who else tends to go out for a lap. In fact, if we could bring up the full screen, we can have a bit of a look and see who's where on the standings at this point in time. On my heavily pixelated commentary box stream. Thanks for that. I could see Melvin's there in 10th. John Kidd currently placing quite nicely into 11th place. Someone's just jumped up ahead of him there. You can see again some of the usual suspects of Murray in 6th for Sheba Garage. I think it's the only... John is technically Sheba Garage as well. So we've got 2 Sheba Garage cars out of 4 so far. We always seem to be at least 1 down at the moment, which is a shame. Danny should be joining us soon, and obviously Pauline is there watching on in the background. So we've got a good chunk of the squad here tonight. Billingham also new to the group in P13 at this point in time. So you can see him down there, car number 44. But it still looks very set at the front end of the grid, doesn't it? It's not changed a great deal. In fact, Borg has joined in the middle as well. What are you laughing at?
P15 F Buck. You could get that a little bit wrong, couldn't you?
F Buck, yeah.
Just having a little giggle to myself there.
Yeah, grid's filling up nicely. Then we've got 17 cars so far at the moment. If anyone's watching along in chat, say hello. Let us know that you're there. Whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or on Facebook, you can comment and we will see it in the commentary box. It'd be nice to know if you're watching along. Of course, you'll use that to vote later on for Driver of the Day as well. So yeah, let us know if you're there. Say hi. It'd be good to see who's watching. I can see there's a few people sort of starting to tune in now. I've been live for a few minutes, which is great. But yeah, give us a little hello.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just having a little bit of a look here again. It's super pixelated. I don't know... Kirk, if you can tell us, what's the difference between P1 and P2 at the moment in terms of lap times? I can't see it from our end.
It's basically about 2.5 tenths just between the two.
It's close, isn't it?
Cool. Yeah. And what are you seeing in terms of who's on laps, who looks like they could go faster? What do you reckon at the moment?
Well, it looks like Bjorkman's just set a purple Sector 1 and Sector 3 compared to Porsche, but somebody has just went out. That was Bjorkman himself, so he's just...
Commentator's curse, you've done it.
Welcome to the club, that's how it works.
So yeah, currently, looks like Bjorkman has purple sectors in 1 and 3, and Porsche is faster in Sector 2, so if we could work out his middle, he could be on for pipping him in the post there, I think.
Cool. Well, we could jump in with Bjorkman then and watch the rest of the lap out. Oh, he looks like he's just gone to the pits, actually, whatever he was doing.
He's gone out, yeah, went back to the pits over that.
That's an interesting thing that we've seen a few drivers spin already. I mean, you've driven these Porsche Cup cars. How do you find them to drive? 'Cause I know it's fairly similar to me.
To sum it up, I'll just go... They're very frustrating, and they're just, I don't know, these are very strange compared to the other cars that I normally drive. I still haven't got to grips with them myself yet. It's just totally different to normal, simply because the fact that the engine is in the rear of the car, and it's actually behind the rear axle, whereas normally it's either at the front or in the middle of the car, so the weight distribution and the way you handle the weight is totally different, and still a rocket science art to me.
They're a bit like pendulums as well, aren't they, with all that weight back there? Just once they're gone, they're gone.
It really is, yeah. It's like hitchhiking with a donkey on your back and then going around a carousel at the same time. It's maddening.
I was just trying to see who else we've got in the middle there. We've got A. Delbach, A. Babstetter, A. Yuspashev. I mean, I think people are just making difficult names different countries around the world to try and catch us out now as they join into our server.
On the plus side of that, though, that's awesome that we're, over the weeks and months that you've been running this InGear Motorsport live stream, you've seen that you're starting to get more and more drivers from further afield and in different countries, and it does always set for really good racing, doesn't it? with it. But yeah, proves a little bit challenging for us in the pronunciation. So apologies now if we get it majorly wrong with anyone.
Yeah, the server is open to join for anyone that wants to race. So there's not generally a lot of Porsche Cup servers available in the game either. So those that like the cars will usually join quite quickly. So good to see it's filling up though. And then we've got about 12, 13, 14, something like that of the main crew that are completing in the championship. And then there's a couple others that have yet to join that may join for race 2. But as qualifying is coming to a close then, there's a few drivers just finishing off their laps, trying to go one better. See Melvin's on a lap at the moment, trying to get better than 5th, which is already pretty respectable for his 2nd race with us.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to the rest of the qualifying order very shortly after a short break. Hello and welcome along then to race 3 of our Porsche Cup mini-series. The drivers are lined up and ready to go in just under a minute's time. Porsche hung on to pole position there, so actually quite common for us to see a pubber jump in that we've never seen before and take pole. Usually they are quite fond of certain circuits, I guess, and that's where that comes from. Bjorkman though, really good strong qualifying for him in 2nd. Borg is 3rd and Dom Stallman down in 4th place at the moment, so a bit of work to do for him to get back on that top step like he did last time. Curran in 5th, Melvin in 6th, great job by him, just ahead of Murray for Sheba Garage. Perez in 8th, Sakamatiri in 9th, Pesserio in 10th, John Kidd in 11th, Canseco in 12th, Billingham 13th, welcome back to Billingham as well, Delback in 14th, Baptistio in 15th, Rodriguez 16th, Ozimo with very small font for his name in 17th, and Stimmer rounding out the grid in 18th place. Porsche Cup, all one car, all one make, but 18 different drivers, all with a bit of a point to prove, try and get up to that top step today. So plenty of action last time, narrow track, little runoff. I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, just quickly, I've seen Liam said hello over on Twitch. Hello, Liam. I'm sure Kirk will be able to say hello back in a minute as well. And then we've got Don as well. Oh, Don, who's actually racing. Which split is this? This is the invitational split, Don. So the drivers start their formation period around the long, fast right-hander. Bit of a front left tyre killer in the race, this one. You think it's just constantly under load, trying to give you grip for a rather long period of time. But they'll be now just trying to give a bit of heat in their brakes and their tyres without going too far out of formation, staying roughly in line. As you can see, they can ghost through each other at this point in time. They don't crash, which is quite handy when they are going inside each other like that. But wait for the lights to go out any moment, and then they'll be racing, hurtling down into that Tarzan hairpin at turn 1. Torschner in the yellow, white and red on the right, and Borkman on the left. Green light, and we're off and racing, hurtling down to turn 1. Everyone looks like they've got off to a good start so far. Stallman's got the run so far, actually, out of the second row of the grid. Looks like it's all going to bunch up a little bit. Curran's got the inside line over Melvin down there with the orange roof of the Greg Sausage Roll branded machine down there. But it looks like Torschner's got away to a good start. Borkman's had to settle for second for the time being, and then Borg has managed to hang on to third somehow after Stallman got the drag on him down into turn 1, just couldn't quite convert that into an overtake. 2 abreast though, currently for 5th and 6th place, which will be Murray and Perez, I think, potentially fighting over that one, or Melvin in there as well. Looks like actually a relatively clean start. I didn't see anything going on in the background, and the leaders, as I said it, the leaders lost the back end. Borg's gone in there as well, which has promoted Stallman from 4th to 2nd, and Borkman into the lead. So that was a really unfortunate start for the super fast car of Torschner there. We'll see if we can find out what happened there, but I think he was just a bit too eager beaver with the throttle, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, it did just look like the kind of typical oversteer snap that happens. But my God, Dom Stallman does have a little bit of luck, I think. I'm a big believer in you create your own luck, but yeah. Look,
yeah, little bit sort of, I guess, out of position there, but yeah, 1 and 2, Borg and Torschner, like you say, just now cleared out of the way for Bjorkman and Stallman to basically do their thing. Curran's going to be doing his best now to not let them get away. Already got a little bit of the gap there that you can see, but he'll be doing his best to try and bring that back in. I wonder if Torschner and Borg got going again. I think it looks like they're on the timing screen, but perhaps Heath, you can share some insight on that one, where those 2 guys are still running.
Yeah, so I'm just on the replay, just trying to find out what happened at the start there, so I'll get back to you with that one.
Cool. Perfect, yeah, and I think this is where it's really important at the moment that Bjorkman does defend, which he is doing very well at the moment from Stallman, but Stallman does have this habit, and, you know, good habit for him to pick away, get in the lead, and then just start chipping away and getting a big lead. And like you say, Curran's going to be trying to hunt them down to make sure that that gap doesn't get any bigger than what it needs to be. But Bjorkman's doing a good job here, isn't he? Stallman's like, he's there, but it's quite a difficult track to overtake. And like I said, I haven't done that much time around here, but you've done a bit more. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, certainly a little bit. I've done 1 or 2 races online months ago. But yeah, like you say, it's not easy, and that's mostly because there's very little runoff to, you know, potentially go a bit late on the brakes, run wide, you're then suddenly in gravel. So you've got to really weigh up the risks of going for a move with somebody. But it looks like these 2 are kind of tit for tat at the moment. Stallman looking like he wants to try and find a way past, but equally drops back and forward a little bit here and there at the same time.
Yeah, perfect. And while we're having a look, while we've had a look at the top 2 there, if we just drop it down a little bit further on the grid, and let's have a look and see what's happening with John Kidd, so in P10. Oh, and as I say that, he's disappeared off the screen. So, he's gone up. It's gone up to P8. So
it's up into P8 now, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So if we can pop the camera onto him, and Kurt's got a little bit of an update for us as well on what happened on very early on in that one.
Yeah, so it looks like, just had a brain dirt.
Borg or Torschner?
Yeah, Torschner. So we're coming in at the T3 just after he dropped a wheel on the grass, basically, and that spun him out. And then it looks like when Bjork came off the brakes, he just got a bit of snap oversteer, as he said, when he came off the brakes because of the camber information.
Yeah. I think as well, quite likely got put off by Chaucer going off, then made him kind of make that mistake as well. So it was touching the grass then, interesting. Yeah, I thought it was a bit different to that, but yeah, good.
It's that whole thing where your eyes are, your hands follow.
Yeah. Yeah, don't look at the grass because you will go there. So that is John Kidd then in the brightly coloured Shiba Garage car, having a good run in 8th place,
really
point scoring position at the moment. They run down to 10th. Nice job by him so far. In fact, highest place Shiba Garage car. 0 points for Neil Kidd at the moment, but a few points for John Kidd. And David Murray was a bit higher up, but he's dropped down to 12th. So potentially something happened to Murray at the start. Again, Kirk will be able to review some of the stuff going on in the background, but probably a few cars to get through and look at there. At the moment, though, still looks like then the running order after a few laps of this race already is Bjorkman in the lead, Dom Stallman in second, Curran hanging on to third, Melvin having a great second weekend or second race weekend virtually out with us in fourth at the moment. Kazko in fifth. Is that Borg that's down in sixth place? Yeah. Bacciamade, here we go with our terrible English pronunciations again. I think that's Italian, that one, Bacciamade. In seventh, and then John Kidd here in eighth for this battle that you see on your screen at the moment. Billingham also seems to be up and still running in the race, down in 13th. Just perhaps check out him and Murray and see what's going on there. But we'll keep an eye on that gap with John Kidd as well in case that comes back. Yeah, it looks like actually there's a bit of action about to happen, doesn't it? In the back of our shots there. That's Murray, the brightly coloured Shiba car, looking on the darker coloured car of Passasio in the car ahead.
Yeah, I must say those Shiba garage cars do look awesome with that livery. Not a very Shiba garage-ish kind of livery. Not what, I don't know, it's just different to what they would normally go for, maybe a little bit more colourful.
Yeah, a bit more colourful. We had a few colourful liveries this time.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome.
I did like obviously Mr. Heath's livery, who's with us in the commentary box tonight, but equally quite colourful and bright. Just nice little changes. Yeah, I guess to what we normally have, just a little bit different, which is great. But yeah, so that's David Murray down in 12th at the moment, trying to find a way back through. Quite getting quicker and quicker every week, Murray, and actually, from what I've heard, had a good bit of pace in testing. So, you know, looking to potentially go a bit further up the field right now. Still, though, over 20 minutes to go. It's so easy to just drop a wheel and make a mistake if you're not careful.
Yeah, he's looking there, and I don't know if that was a little bit of a nudge that he just did on What are we going with the name? So P11,
Passasio.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Backfired on him a little bit there. So Passy, whatever. I've lost the plot, people. Kept in front there, but I think you can see that Murray.
That was John Kidd facing the wrong way.
John Kidd, they just drove past John Kidd there, and whoever that was with him. So fingers crossed, John's going to get back up and going now, which I think we can see in the background of our screen there.
He just stopped for a chat.
Wow.
So he was with Baptista, but I'm not sure whether that was who he had the incident with or if it was another car. The timing screen updates per split, so as they cross the line, we'll start to see who's still running. Baptista looks like he's still going, so it might have been Dalback then that John had a little tussle with, but got going again anyway. Murray loses the rear end a little bit there through Tarzan hairpin coming out of that. I think we should just jump back up to the sharp end though, because Stallman is still right on the back of Bjorkman.
Yeah, just to say, lap 2 there was a bit of contact between Billingham and Baptista, just going on to the hairpin after the fast section, so they had a bit of a tussle there.
Okay, cool. Did they both come out of it okay, or?
It was at low speed. Actually, Billingham was in the wall, so he might have had a bit of radiator damage at the front there, so it might have affected him a little bit.
Cool. So on the screen at the moment then, still this battle rages on between the Swedish driver Bjorkman and the German driver Dominic Stallman. Currently not been able to find a way past, and it is a hard track to overtake, so interesting to see if he's going to make that work at some point. But all the pressure is on Bjorkman at the moment. You know, we just hope that he can not make a mistake and we could get a fair battle either way out of these two, and give Dom a bit of work to do, I guess, if he wants to win this one.
Yeah,
which he did do it the last time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what is proven here is that they're very, very even on pace, aren't they? Which, you know, if Don Stallman just could pull out, you know, a couple of tenths faster on a lap, it would give him the distance to just go and put a lunge in somewhere better. At the moment, it doesn't look like it. The worry that would happen with that is he going to overcook his tyres trying to stay and latch on to the back of him? I think that's one thing with Murray as well that we probably need to keep an eye on, is he was pushing very, very hard through a couple of those corners. You can see the car getting a little bit out of shape there. You know, we've still got 20 minutes of this race, or 21 minutes left of this race, and we know that it's quite a hard circuit on tyres, so we might start to see in the latter stages of it that people are starting to will have cooked their tyres.
Yeah, definitely, and again, that then makes it even easier to make a mistake and go a bit wide. Like Charlotte says, the tyres start to go, and then you go a bit wide, you're on the grass, and then that very quickly converts into a wall. and doesn't do you any favours for the rest of the race. So, yeah, plenty of opportunity to get it wrong still. Just again, another note, say if you're watching along in chat, let us know what you think of the race so far. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think Bjorkman can hang on to it? Do you think Dom's going to get him? Do we have any of the other German contingent watching tonight? Is Roland back with us? Watching last time, cheering on. I'm sure he'll be on for race 2, ready for the driver of the day vote regardless. We'll see though. Yeah, Melvin is looking close.
Yeah, P4 and 5, they look very close. Also P6 and 7 by the looks of it too.
Oh, yeah, as we said that, it looked like Melvin there. So second race evening outing with Harry Melvin there in P5 with us. Really, really strong performance. Qualified in P6, worked his way up to P4. He's dropped back a couple of places now, but yeah, he's all over the back of Borg there. That did just hurt him a little bit, that little moment that he had, but I think he's probably got the pace to latch onto back again and try and make a move and stick with it. Harry's quite experienced, isn't he, with online racing, just hasn't actually raced in the InGear Motorsport platform. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I know he does some racing on iRacing. I don't know the extent of it, but I know he is signed up with a team and competes in different leagues and things with them. So definitely someone who's used to being in a virtual race, I guess. And it shows, I guess, we've seen a little twitch here and there, but for the most part, pretty consistent and steady. And I think that's one of the things that you really have to work on with this type of game. So yeah, that's definitely shining through, the fact that he's just used to concentrating for that bit longer before making a mistake. Heath's got a bit of an update regarding P6 and 7 as well, I think.
Yeah, so it looks like just as they're coming into turn 1, Saka Med managed to get past Canseco. I think he outbraked him on the inside, just went straight through.
Nice one into Tarzan hairpin. Not actually as easy as you think, is it?
It's not. It's quite deceptive because it's very wide on the entry, then all of a sudden it gets very tight at the apex, and there's very little runoff on the exit of the corner as well, so you have to be careful with your throttle application once you get through the actual apex itself. But it is a very good overtaking opportunity here, particularly if you get the drive off the last corner and get the slipstream down the start-finish straight.
Cool, good stuff. I'm just looking as well on my screen that Borg is potentially going to be in striking distance of Curran by the end of this race. I've not had a chance to monitor his pace too much, but be interesting to see if he can just keep chipping away at that gap to get himself back on the podium. Of course, was on the front row, had that turn 1 incident, and will be looking to try and get back through.
Definitely. He's currently just over a second behind Curran by the looks of it.
So, what do we fancy, team? Charlotte, who do you think then is going to hang on to this if you had to guess out of the win so far?
I really, obviously, being biased, InGear Motorsport on the platform, one of our regulars, I'd really like Curran to stay in P3, but yeah, it does look like at the moment if Borg can just carry on chipping away at it, as long as he doesn't cook his tyres in the process. We've got 17 minutes left, which is not usually, it doesn't sound like that long an amount of time, but it is when you're hanging on to a car that's getting hot, getting a bit more fatigue kicking in as a driver and that side of things, and it seems like he's starting to take chunks out of him, so I think there could be a swap in positions there. It won't surprise me if D. Stallman is playing the long game with this one, just going to sit nicely on the back, always within striking distance of Bjorkman. We've seen him do this before in a race. He just kind of sits there in striking distance, he just waits for his moment, pounces, and then take the position of it. So yeah, I think there is going to be a little of a shake up. I don't think it's a done deal yet. Just to add on to that, you can see that John Kidd has worked his way back up, so he's now in P9. So he's after D Murray, so second of the Sheba Garage are back together.
Yeah,
it always
2 by 2 they came. Here they go again.
Yeah, it always happens. So real good effort by John Kidd there, and it's nice to see him. He's done really well, hasn't he, in sticking with the races. You know, time after time, and you can see the improvement lap after lap, race after race, that he's getting better and better. So it'd be really good to see him finish in the top 10 and get a points finish there for him.
And we just kind of saw there that Borg got past Curran as we were talking about it, or just after we were talking about it. So Borg absolutely flying at the moment. It's now 1.5 seconds for him to get up to Dominic Stallman in second place, to go one further. If this goes anything like the F1 at the weekend, then he's due a puncture in about 3 laps' time.
Oh,
If he's following suit
I mean,
for
we
the
haven't
Lexus.
spoken about that yet, and I'm still just, yeah, wow.
It was pretty much just how I explained it. The same again, you really got a good drive at the last corner, got in his slipstream on Corrin, and just placed the car on his inside. And at that point, Corrin was helpless, and he just had to concede at that point. And his last lap was also his quickest. He just did a 38.9, so he's really putting pedal to the metal, as it were.
Do we think his tyres are coming alive a little bit now, do you reckon?
Quite possibly, yeah. And also there's that phase potentially where he had the spin at the start where they might have got a bit hot, could have caused a bit of graining, and they do then kind of push through that phase. And given how accurately Kunos have modelled the tyres in this game with working with Pirelli, I wouldn't put it past that being actually represented in simulation. So yeah, I was just looking back. John Kidd was 14th and 11th last time out at Catalunya. So just missing out on points kind of in both occasions. Points go down to 10th. So the 11th particularly, I remember him losing quite in the late stages of the race as well. So it'd be nice to see him get some points today. He puts the time in to come on and practice and join the races and take part, and it'd be nice to see him get some points back out of that, which would be really nice to see. At the moment though, Stallman will still be looking strong in the championship. Sorry, Heath, go on.
Yeah, sorry, as you say, Bjorkman just went a bit deep at turn 3, so it's allowed Stallman to pull some time back onto him. But watching Stallman, he's really pushing the car and just he's pushing it to the limit, but not over the limit, if you know what I mean. And it looks like Bjorkman's starting to struggle a little bit now. Looks like they're just within 4/10 of each other.
Okay, I'm going to put in what I think is going to happen, throwing it out there. I think Borg will take the win.
Interesting. It'd be nice to see after, he technically was the highest placed on the grid at the start of this. We didn't actually acknowledge the fact that the pole sitter left the race after that incident earlier on. So Borg was technically the fastest in qualifying out of the people that are still running. We actually have lost the best part of 6 or 7 cars from where we started. What's that Liam Sharman saying now?
Yeah, so Liam's there on Twitch. Hi Liam, good to see you're watching. Kirk, little request there, have you got a setup, because he wants to
come last in the
second race. I think he's a bit harsh on himself. Liam, he's done really well over the last couple of championships, pulling himself
Did you share one earlier in Discord actually? I think he shared one.
That was a Porsche Cup, yeah. I don't know if he's referring to the Italian one coming up or not.
No, I think he means tonight. He's put it on the live stream. He's commented on Twitch that he wants to join. Yeah, there's one on Discord, Liam, which is a very good opportunity for me to plug the fact that we have a community Discord. There are links to that based in various locations depending on which live stream that you are watching. But yeah, you can come and join that. And if you want to get involved in any of this, whether it's watching, commenting, chatting to the drivers, helping with images, whatever it might be, or just coming and joining the races, then that's the best place to start. Join the Discord, free to do it, of course. You can get involved in the conversations as this battle between Billingham and Murray then is getting a little bit heated up, isn't it? Murray is tracking him down. Well, actually, that doesn't look like Murray's car. Oh, yeah, Billingham and Passacier. Billingham looks like he's had a bit of a donk at the front. Yeah, over to you, Heath.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say that there's a very close battle happening between Sakamed and H. Melvin as well. In fact, Sakamed, just as I said that, commentator's curse, he's overcooked his braking point, nearly hit Melvin and just gone straight to the gravel.
That's good that he's missed Melvin. Let's just take a look at P1 and 2 then, because we know that Borg's going to be coming up on Dorman pretty quickly by the rate of his pace. So if we just have a look to see what's going on at the top 2 and see how things are shaping up there.
Yeah, Borg will be sniffing, a potential victory if anything happens between this front 2. He'll be there to pick up the pieces. But at the moment, because of that race 1 incident, he's got 10 seconds to try and figure that one out. So still though, Dominic Stallman not able to find a way past Bjorkman at the moment.
No, currently 6/10 off. It'll be interesting to see how he's going to start to chip away at that over the course of the next 11 minutes or so.
Yeah, Bjorkman and Stallman are actually very close at the minute.
Yeah, I think
he's into the second hairpin.
Definitely think Stallman's starting to have a serious think about when he's going to make his move and make it stick.
Sorry, talking over you there, but Bjorkman had a little bit of a wobble just as we were watching there. Gave Stallman a chance just to close that gap down, and it's like a drop of blood in the water for a shark, isn't it, to Stallman? He'll be just ready to pounce all over that if he shows any other signs of weakness. Such a sterling effort so far.
It looks like he's Bjorkman's struggling with his tyres at the minute now. It looks like he's getting oversteer at nearly every corner by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's looking a bit twitchy everywhere, I must say.
Oh, a big slide.
Oh, he's gone!
Oh, how did Dom just miss that? That was pure luck.
And Ninja Stallman dodges another car spinning out of the way in front. He's like Moses. He parts the cars in front of him.
He has got Hamilton luck, and everyone else is Bottas. that is like the equivalent at the moment.
I mean, he has to keep it on the road and do the job.
Yeah, no.
But I totally agree.
Come on, but I think we can all agree over Formula One, especially over this last year. Things that shouldn't have played into Hamilton's hands absolutely had, and Bottas has had a bit of unluck. But yeah, let's not go into that one too much.
Just to say, looks like Bjorkman's recovered and he's started just getting straight on with the job again. So he's not really lost any time or been phased by that. Obviously he's lost time, but yeah, straight back onto the prowl.
Where's that put in place-wise at the moment?
Not fully sure. They're just going
I think
into...
7-ish. Oh no, actually.
He's still in second.
He's still in P2.
Yeah, he's currently
he's
6 seconds now ahead of Borg.
Yeah, so he's only 3 seconds off of Stallman. I think this is going to give Borg a perfect opportunity, because that would have done, that would have hurt his tyres. And Mackenzie, you might as well say your famous saying, because you haven't said it yet, and we're halfway through this evening.
You don't. Oh, that's Billy Mapassi. I have a bit of a moment. Well, yeah, that was a close one, and this is exactly why Kirk's here in the background, going to have a look at that. Now, for me, first impression, that looked like that Passacio was off the track a little bit, lost control of the car, and as he was rejoining, kind of had nowhere to go but into the side of Billingham, who just happened to be there.
He took too much curb, didn't back out.
Yeah.
I think there was no intent behind that one, but I think, again, having awareness around you and maybe backing out a little bit there. But then you could argue if he just backed out, then the car would have snapped and could have collected Billingham at the same time. So yeah, Kirk will be having a look at that in the background for us to give his verdict of things.
So again, these cars just catching people out. We had 19 cars on the grid, 12 remain at the moment. After, once again, just like I say, loads of cars just losing control, having those little spins here and there. It's so easily done in these, as Kirk was saying before. But keep in mind then, as you're watching along, who you think is the driver of the day for you, because as we get partway through the next race, then we will start taking votes for that. Race Rex is just telling me off for clicking something.
That's why we just went a bit a little bit quiet there with that one.
You know what that is, isn't he? He's so alert now after a few sips of Monster.
True,
he's hearing everything.
Cool. For anyone that's new that's watching, it's probably worth mentioning that Mackenzie, you can probably talk about this slightly better than what I can. You've got more experience with the game and you play it a lot more.
You do put me on the spot.
Sorry. But previously, at the end of race results, they wouldn't show DNFs, which was a massive, massive bugbear of mine, because you could start a grid with 20 people on the grid or 24 people on the grid, and just because they drop out because they get their knickers in the twist or something like that because they've had a bit of a mare, then it makes someone who is in last position look like they're in last position. But actually, now don't they include the DNFs, so the people that throw the strop? It's true though. It's true. It's true.
Yes, that's true. They've changed it now, so it works that way.
Thank you.
If anyone's just joined us, you've not tuned into The Only Way is Essex. This is InGear Motorsport's live stream.
I'm from Hertfordshire, just to clarify.
You know Charlotte's but she's from Hertfordshire. So don't feel the need to shut up and not chat to us. Please do holler at us in the live stream chat and get involved. But
I think it's a valid point in saying that, because we get a lot of newbies join this Discord chat and they stick with it race after race, and it might look like they're coming further down in the grid, but they stick with it, don't they?
Yeah, no, you are right. It's a very valid point, and it's nice when people stick around. Right, Kirk's got an update for us about that incident earlier on.
Yeah, so it looks like Billingham took the inside line for Tarzan, and they were just still side by side around the entire corner. And Pasaseo on the exit pretty much got wide. He was fully on the grass, and then came half back onto the track. And then just before they hit turn 2, there's a really tall curb, and looks like the car just bounced over that curb. And then because the car was unsettled, it ended up in Billingham's side pretty much. So a racing incident, but he could have avoided it if he backed out of it. So maybe just a warning on that one, because I think that's his second mark this track. Yeah, this race rather.
Yep. So Mr. Race Director in the background will be giving him a little bit of a warning there, because again, if it is stuff like that, it does happen. But also you need to know when to back out, because that would have not only ruined his race, if that had gone even more wrong, it would have taken Billingham out. But actually, he made a move, he made it stick. You know.
Yeah.
That's where you've got to look at it, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those. Sometimes, yeah, it might have been an accident ultimately, but it's an accident you didn't need to be in a position to have, I think, is the point, isn't it? So, right, well, Borg then is now potentially catching on to the back of Yorkman after that mistake earlier. It did put him into striking distance for Borg after that terrible turn 1 or turn 2, the first part of the lap when he lost the rear end of the car. Now is able to potentially rectify that to the most part and get back to where he started, which was P2.
Yep, he's just moved within 1.3 seconds of him, and Bjorkman just had a massive slide, and Bjorkman just lost it, so Borg's just sailed right past him.
Definitely lost a lot of rear grip, hasn't he, in the latter stages of this race?
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
And wait,
Pasaseo
who's that facing the wrong way?
That was Pasaseo.
I saw a black Porsche facing the wrong way, and I thought, oh, that could be Donovan. But so Pasaseo's lost that then.
I'll just see if that's self-inflicted or not. So bear with me on that one.
So okay then, 3.5 minutes left to go of this race. Dominic Stallman, that name we've heard many times before, is in the lead. Not, I guess, a little bit lucky, I guess, early in the race, but equally, while every other driver's having incidents and losing the rear end of the car and sliding, at some point in this race, he's the one that's kept it on the black stuff, and he's the one that's still at the top of that leaderboard there as a result of it at the moment, with this 3 minutes to go. So we're talking a few more laps, a couple of laps at most, really, and then he'll be the winner of round 3 of the Porsche Cup race. But, of course, don't count the chickens just yet. Still that couple of laps to go. It's around about 4 kilometres a lap here. So about 8 kilometres standing between him and the next race win. Borg still then has got the pace. He'll be looking strong in part 2, or race 2, I should say, with that lap times that he's got. Curran then still in 4th. Melvin still in 5th. Murray's back up to 6th, which is a good effort after where he dropped to earlier on. Looks like Borg's coming around to lap another car who's nicely got out of the way, which is good to see. Nice bit of fair driving there. Billingham back into 7th, which is great because he was down outside the top 10 earlier. So point scoring position for him. Liam foresees crashes if he joins over on Twitch. He said, well, hopefully not, Liam. Otherwise, race director will be coming down on you. And I don't think Kirk's going to give you any sympathy either.
Hell no.
So, yeah, John Kidd just closing in on Delbach at the moment, then potentially another point up for grabs for him, or technically another couple points in the way the point system works, as he bounces off the curb a little bit there and then brings it into the hairpin. Looking like a solid end to the race for him, actually, after that.
Yeah, he's had a good comeback drive, hasn't he? So I think he got himself up to P8 at one point, didn't he? Dropped back to P11. Bear in mind, he started in P11 as well, and has fought his way back up there again. And I think that shows a little bit of resilience and also starts to show experience as well. Often and not, like I say, you see something will happen, whether it's an accident, overcook or whatever, and it really kind of knocks the driver, doesn't it? But he's done a good job here. As I said that though, he did look a little bit squiffy as he was coming out that last corner, didn't he?
Squiffy.
So yeah, technical term there. Squiffy. Put it in your dictionary. carry on.
Yeah, so just to say that Assetto looks like it was self-inflicted when he was facing the wrong way. He seems he received a bit of damage when he had the contact with Billingham, so he had to pit, repaired himself, got driving again, and then just lost it coming out of the one of the hairpins.
Blimey, he's having
Not a great race for him then. All right, well, Tom Storm will be starting the last lap of the race for any moment now, I would say. I'm just trying to keep an eye on what gaps there might be a little bit of an issue or a battle to be had. But everyone's looking fairly settled now at this final stage of the race after all of that chaos and action of people losing the car. And I mean, the lead has technically changed a few times throughout the course of this race, hasn't it? There he goes then, and perhaps we should ride on board with him for this last lap of the race.
Yeah, credit where credit's due with this one, because as you say, he has had some good luck, but he also makes his own luck. He keeps it on the black stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. Another age-old saying for you, but to finish first you must finish.
Well, that's one thing he excels at. He is very consistent, is the Stallman. The gap was very close at the minute between Bjorkman and Curran.
Yeah, okay, well, maybe we'll drop back to that just the last couple seconds and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll just keep my eyes on this battle.
We'll jump back to it now.
Thanks, Mr. Race Director.
Couldn't wait.
Now, if Curran makes the move, Ben, then you've done that at the perfect time.
Really current on in our race. You
but
can see the car hopping over the bumps there, can't you?
Fueled himself up low by him, bro.
Yeah.
Just seeing on the map then, it looks like Stallman is about to cross the line. So we will jump straight back to this. Last couple corners, 2 corners to go. So
Corin is
this...
right behind Bjorkman now. Oh, he's going for a dive. There's contact.
Oh.
Was there contact back there or not?
Yeah, there was. He's let Bjorkman go. Corin stops and just let Bjorkman go again. So yeah, he just tried to place it for a gap that wasn't there, and it just closed straight on him.
Okay, and then coming across the line, Dominic Stallman takes the win at race 3. That's now 3 out of 3 races for him.
Not been an easy 3,
Not been an easy 3.
No, he's had to work for them.
Back when we did our first GT4 Championship, he was very strong, and some races he just got away and drove off, but there's constantly other cars around giving him a good fight this time. There is Curran then on your screen, so yeah, Heath, we kind of had to peel the camera away there from that one, but yeah, tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, it's pretty much so. Bjorkman again had a bit of oversteer coming out of the right-hander complex just before the hairpin on the left. Corin was right behind him, so obviously he had to go for it, and there was a little bit of a gap, but Bjorkman pretty much closed the door straight away, and he just tapped him on his rear quarter panel, spun him out, but Corin was gentlemanly, stopped, waited for Bjorkman to regain himself and carry on, and then they both finished where they did.
Cool, yeah. So proper sportsmanship there by Curran. He does seem to be a gent with stuff like this, doesn't he? You know, we've seen that. You know, and I think that's nice of the community that InGear Motorsport's building. You know, if there is something that happens that is wrong or not correct, then it all seems to be a bit politer than maybe it is in the real world.
Yeah, we have the odd incident, like we say, and stuff that happens and people join or whatever. But yeah, for the most part. Yeah, pretty good. He's saying nothing. What was I going to say? I remember back in, I think it was Monza, that Roland Stallman collected Andy Klimpson, actually, and then waited pretty much half a lap to give the place back. So that is kind of the gentleman's code of conduct in battle, is to, as luckily after the checkered flag, I think that was John Kidd came into contact with, might have been Billingham, who was just parked at the end of the straight. But everyone seems okay. I can see lots of good races going on in the in-game chat there. We'll be having another race very shortly, so do stick around. We'll have a little bit of a debrief and a chit-chat around what's just happened, and feel free to comment with anything that you thought along with that in the race. I mean, we had people giving us cheese jokes a few races ago, didn't we, in the live stream chat, so don't be shy. Liam's still thinking about it, but thinks he's going to crash into the barriers, I think so.
Yeah, and if you're wondering who's talking on what, we've got a system here where we can see who's talking and everything. So, yeah, you can tune in on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever you've got, and we see everything that's coming through.
Yeah, so the results will have been recorded then for that race just now, and then they'll go towards the championship standings. That will all get published out on our socials in the coming days afterwards, based on, of course, who wins the next race and gets the points in the next race. I think with some rough maths, it's still, because Bjorkman scored solid points in third. Was he still third after that incident? The screen's changed a little bit now for our commentary box, but Kirk or Ben will probably tell me for sure whether Bjorkman was third or second. Then after that second incident, he lost it to Borg in that closing stages.
I forgot to mute the microphone then. Yeah, Bjorkman did spin out quite early on, and then Bjorg just went sailing past, and that's what allowed Corin to get on his tail. And then, as we saw just on the last lap, Bjorkman did have that contact, but Murray let him go. So Bjorkman was third, and then Murray fourth.
Cool. So Corin actually dropped back to fifth then at that point in time.
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so I think championship wise, then that still leaves it available if Stallman has potentially no points and Bjorkman gets full points, he's actually still very much in the hunt for the championship, which is good. So Kirk, how was that then for first time joining us in commentary box?
It was a lot of fun. It's I can't actually see it a live time. It's quite difficult to see all the different menus and the user interface, but yeah, it's fun. It's to hop around and see the battles developing from a third-person perspective. It's different rather than always just being so focused on what's happening, being in first person. But yeah, it's nice. It's
different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
hard to keep up, like you say, with all the different stuff going on. Yeah, so that's why I'm very grateful to have you here, because it gives us someone else to just call upon to go and look at different stuff happening.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for being like adjudicator as well, and just making sure everyone's playing ball. So yeah, it's good to make sure it's a good, clean race and no one's being bashful or anything as such.
Just seen as well that Sharman has just joined the server, one of your West Midlands teammates.
He sure has.
What do you expect it to make of his race then, having not been around the track before, as he said?
Yeah, I think we'll have a bit of repetition of his first GT4 days when he joined us. It's not the easiest tracks to join in at when you've never raced it before, and these cars are a pain, shall we say. So yeah. Pete Burns, you spin me right round, I think that he'll be having his headset.
I love the faith there, that's it.
Yeah, that's his teammate he's talking about.
Oh, Charlotte, if I can't master him, then he's got no hope.
Love that.
But, to not slate him too much, he's giving it a go, and that's the main thing. So, at least he's trying it. So, yeah, you got to take the bull by the horns, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is Chrissy Palmer this evening?
Didn't fancy joining.
Oh right. Oh okay.
Yeah, he's a bit worried about his pace, I think. Not to dob him out at all.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd just throw straight onto that pass there. Cool.
So yeah, as you can see, timings then, there'll be another race coming up fairly shortly. The drivers are just having a short break at the moment, but qualifying 2 will start in about 5 minutes time. Then from that, we'll go into another 30-minute race. So yeah, don't go anywhere, or if you do, come back in the next 5 minutes, because it'll all be happening again. 15 minutes qualifying, 30 minutes of racing, and Charlotte, Kirk and myself will all be watching along and keeping you up to date.
Rain, is what I'm saying.
I would like some rain, but it hasn't very dry.
It's Danny Price isn't here.
You're in the wrong commentary box.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just had my phone
come sit with us in the real world, you'll be fine.
Socially distance, of course.
Yeah, so what do we think will happen in race 2 then? I'll go to Charlotte first.
I've got Danny Price has joined the server. When Danny Price joins and races, there's rain.
Yeah,
yeah. So I've got fingers and toes crossed that there is going to be a bit of rain, just because I love the car. Yeah, my legs are crossed at the moment as well, because I love the carnage of it. But yeah, I think there's going to be maybe a little bit more action in this one. I think people are maybe going to have learnt from mistakes that they made previously with tyre setups and things like that, cooking them.
Yeah, and I have
and then
to say I'm pretty gutted on that note about for Bjorkman's behalf, because he drove such a stellar race. It's not easy to keep Dominic Stallman behind you for, I think, what was close to 20, 25?
I was going to say, it's well over 3/4 of the race, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then just drop back. So, all right, so that's what you're expecting. What about you then, Kirk?
I think it's going to be a bit of a repeat of race 1, to be honest. I mean, Borg's definitely looking a lot stronger, so he's definitely in a shout with definitely being on the podium, and he might even try and take it to them, so it's going to be a close one. If Bjorkman can sort out his setup, maybe just ran a bit too much camber or something for his tyres to overwear, or if he can get that, then he's also in for a very strong shouting, because as we saw, it wasn't so much he was struggling with pressure from Stallman, but more his setup and actual car struggling for grip by the looks of it, from my eyes.
We just had Daz Bolt say that he's part of the Kirk Heath fan club. Friend of yours, I take it, over on YouTube?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's even funnier. Well, welcome anyway, Daz Bolt. Good to see you. Did you see race 1? And if so, who do you think is going to win race 2? Let us know in the chat. Goes for anyone watching. We've got another race coming up very shortly for anyone that is just joining. So within the next 5 minutes, not even that now, a few minutes we'll be in qualifying and then heading into the next race. So yeah, all coming up very quickly. Oh, Kirk, you're generating fans already, so that's good.
I'll take that.
I'll step down. I have my Tuesdays.
No, I'll step down. I'm going to go race.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, you say, yeah.
You can't have your Tuesdays back.
I'll give you a break if you want, Mackenzie. Get some wheel time.
Yeah, we'll have to take you up on that at some point. On that note, the next series coming up is, of course, Italian Winter Series. So that's Italian cars, Italian tracks, which is great because there's now 3 Italian tracks in this game. Yeah, back in the driver's seat for you then.
I think I might do for that one, yeah. We had a bit of a practice last night, me and Liam, around Monza in the Huracan. So just trying to see how that car handles throughout a race and how it can take the track. So that was interesting.
Yeah, that'll be fun round there. I think it's fairly quick round Monza. The Ferrari's, I think, the one for Monza though, and then I don't know about Misano though, which is the first round, I think, isn't it?
I'm not sure if it is. I can't remember the track order, but yeah, the Lambo's actually pretty consistent. I found when I was driving it. I mean, I wasn't super fast. I was only into the 49s, I think, so it wasn't rapid or nothing. But I actually managed to get it quite consistent because usually it's known for being quick over one lap, but not necessarily over a race distance. So that was interesting. And you were right as well. There was a Ferrari I was stuck behind. I kind of ended up with a stalemate with him, but he was just so consistent that I just could not match him at all, and he managed to just take the win from that race.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how it kind of unfolds with that. I've really enjoyed this one-make format, although I think some of the drivers will tire of it quickly if it was all we did. But yeah, so we kind of got a similar theme with this Italian series. So a little bit of choice, but fairly restricted. And I think it levels the playing field quite nicely as well.
It does. It's like it's such a fresh change as well, even from the whole open grid or a single make series. Like to change it up that way, like it does bring another element to it, like you said. So it's good to drive because it's not the same thing all over the time. Like I get in a little bit of something different. It just adds another big fun factor to it.
I'm smiling to myself as we're talking as well because people watching can see it on the smaller screen, but we can see as well that people in the server that Curran's putting in some practice, and you've just got other cars parked at the side of the track. I saw counting 3 just now that it went past in one lap. So people out there getting practice in though. This 10 minutes is either a break or a practice. Lots of them opting to practice this time.
Would you use it as a break or a practice?
I think it depends. If I've got setup tweaks that I really want to try, then yes, probably would go out and give it a go. I remember at Brands Hatch was sort of one of the races that I've had a go in the GT4 Championship. I was literally a couple of attempts off of Dom really. I just wanted to try a couple of things, but then there's other times where if it's particularly in the summer when it's really hot, in VR it's extremely sweaty after a while, so it's nice just to get a bit bit of a break, take the headset off, and reset, ready for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, just to counter the point I was just saying, like the different changes in the single mate series, it's a lot of fun unless it's a Porsche Cup. Because I had to rage quit and just walk away last week at the week before at Barcelona. Simply just again, I just cannot get to grips at all with these Porsches. But I've also just received a message in the hate mail from Daz Bolt saying, I can't believe you forgot me. I now know who it is, so I've been corrected. It's usernames. It's like, you know, like we have on Discord, it's just like the names are so different from their actual names. It's like, who's who? I don't know.
What is the logic behind that? Like, for me, obviously I don't spend too much time in your Discord chats with you guys. I just like jump in and come and do the commentary. And I've got notes of who is who, because I can't remember. So yeah, I'm getting there though, slowly.
Well, George was telling me, my younger nephew who works with us at InGear Media, made me feel old early. He's like, well, you can change people's names and how they show up in your own server. So we could go and make everyone's name what we think it is. We wanted to. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, everyone at the moment joins with their own weird and wonderful names, such as Jet Badgers.
I think it's just because like your name, it's just like, you know, it's what you have every day. So having something else that's different, and you know, when you're actually in a game, it's like it allows you to be something else. Or if there's something particularly you just think is funny, or it just gives you a chance to just express yourself in a different way. So like, you know. It's like for me, it's like I love badgers, and then like my name is Jeff. I love all that. So just to have that, like it's like at the same time, it's a bit of a conversation starter with people because they see your name and they go, "Huh, that's funny."
Well, it's still got us talking a few months on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So you know, it's a bit of like a pseudonym kind of thing. You know, it's all just good laugh, really. Like, I mean, I compliment players sometimes in different games, just literally just based on their character name. It's hilarious.
On that note, should we put everyone out their misery and jump into qualifying?
Right, serious face on.
Yeah, we're back in the room, people back in the room.
So, well, Daz, I hope you're still watching and you didn't get too offended, and you're going to stay and stick around for a bit. We're going to need some people to vote for driver of the day as well halfway through this race. We've had a couple of drivers refill our ranks again by the look of it, so back up to 15, but yeah, there's still 12 there that are competing in the championship. In fact, I think it's had more now that Danny and Charman have joined. They'll be registered for points if we want them. So you've got Swedish man there, Robert Bjorkman on your screen at the moment, the red, white and blue Porsche. Narrowly missing out on the victory, actually now 2 races running. This time though, a bit more of a unforced error where he lost the rear end and gifted the win essentially at that point. Although I say gifted, it was quite close. It could have gone either way anyway. To Dominic Stallman. Last week out, I keep saying that, 2 weeks ago at Catalonia, was hanging on to the lead right up until the last lap. So he's going to be desperate to try and get a win under his belt this time and show what he can do. But no one's put a time in the board yet. We always actually talk about this, don't we?
Always talk about this.
It's 12 and a half minutes into a 15-minute qualifying session, so people will have done a lap potentially by this point. But by the time if they'd left the pit straight away, but people seem to give it a bit of time. Kirk, what's your sort of view on that when it comes to qualifying? Is there a strategy there, or do you kind of just head out when you're ready?
It's kind of a mixture. It's just yeah. So I'm trying to get ready as quick as I can to prep to try and get out as early as I can. Because obviously the worst thing I experience, particularly in the busier like the endurance events or the sim grid sprint events, is traffic jams. Basically, like there's nothing more frustrating when you're trying to put in a really good lap to give you the best advantage you can from a race start. Next thing you know, you got traffic right in front of you, and it's so annoying because obviously you still don't hit them because you can get penalised for making contact even though it's qualification, and obviously that will then affect you for the race because like the directors might give you a grid penalty as such for the start. So the strategy, the best thing to do is try and get out, have a look at the cars around you. If you think you're quicker than the car in front, is literally just back off the throttle, let them get away, say maybe 2 to 3 seconds ahead of you, and then when you know you've got some clear track, then get on with it, and then you can focus literally just on the lap and not having to compromise yourself for traffic around you.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. And 15 minutes sounds like a lot, but really it's not actually, is it? When it comes down to
really doesn't. I mean, if you've got some of the longer tracks, say particularly Spa, you know, it's over 2 minutes for one lap. So essentially, you've got close to only 2 or 3 laps. When you take into account, you've got to wait for your tyres to come up. You've got to get around the track on your out lap. It's one of the longest pits as well there. So it's not so bad at the shorter tracks like this because you still do get a bit more time. But like you said, yeah, it literally does just go. You're like, I'll just go out for another one and push for another, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, I've only got 30 seconds. I'm not going to make it in time, so there's no point.
Yeah, no, it does catch up on you. I mean, already we've got 10 minutes to go, so you start thinking, if you haven't got a lap in yet, I need to do it. At the moment, though, Bjorkman's the fastest man of the day, given our wonderful technology provided to us for the commentary box. I can't see the lap times very clearly, but perhaps you can, even know if it's quick or
I was
not.
literally just about to say Bjorkman and Stallman, there was 62 hundredths of a second between them. Just as I said that, Bjorkman's just banked in a personal best of a 37.9, which puts him half of a second faster than D. Stallman.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's got a point to prove in this
Out
one,
for
hasn't
vengeance.
he? Yeah, he's got a point to prove. I think he's, like you say, he's got so close the last couple of times, hasn't he? He's just got to try and keep it on the track and not make the mistake in the last sort of stages of the race. So sort of fingers crossed for him. I'm actually rooting for him a little bit. Don't know if it's because he's Swedish. You know, I work for a Swedish company. So
yeah, they do good cider, don't they?
Well,
do they? Did you do that?
Yeah, Copperberg, mate. Come on.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And record leg up might be. I can't quite remember. Anyway, this is not a AA. Christ, let's go on with it. So Curran's also just banked in a lap. That puts him into P3. He's within a second of Bjorkman. He's currently 4/10 slower than Stallman. So that could be interesting for the race. But this lap won't be quicker because he's stuck behind Rodriguez at the minute, so he's having to back out of his lap.
Curran's one of those who I think is always actually very close on pace. Doesn't really get the opportunity to spend maybe the hours of testing that some people get to spend, but finally gets a little bit in. He's always knocking on the doors for a top 3.
Yeah, for sure. He's always under the radar. Like, I mean, I should know I've been stuck behind him enough, but like you say, the fact that he could just walk in because he, like you said, I don't think he has that much time on the game, and he's just like, oh, has anyone got to set up for this track? Okay, yeah, gets on with it. And then on the race night, is like in the top 5 or 6 nearly every race, and it's just like, it amazes me how people just have that talent to just walk in and just go, yeah, okay.
Well, Charlotte, we haven't got any rain, despite Danny P joining. There was no rain dance done. How does that change the thoughts now then, looking into the rest of it?
I still think there's going to be a little bit of something going. I don't know what, it's just a gut feeling, but I think Bjorkman's absolutely got a point to prove, isn't he? You know, half a second up, even being a couple of attempts up on Stallman is, you know, no mean feat at all. I think Curran, you know, he's obviously done something, hasn't he, in that break session, those 10 minutes, as to why he stayed out there. He's changed something on the car. So we don't know what it is. Obviously, we're not gonna know until, you know, maybe we have a chat with him later on. But it's either going to go in his favour or go against, isn't it? So I think it's like you say, if you either use that break to have a break because it's hot, you know, it's pretty full on. You guys qualifying, jumping straight into racing. So yeah. Be interesting to see with that, you know, P3 at the moment doing okay. As I said, that he had a little bit of a moment on the exit of the corner there.
Last time.
Yeah.
Oh, I was billing him, I think. Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
That's all right. Danny Price, though, straight in, set a lap, P6 currently so far. I mean, has he had much time on the track?
I don't know over the recent week, but certainly is a big fan of this track. Cool. Him and Neil Kidd, I know, have always been doing a lot of random races here. I mean, so our server we race with and in Discord, the guys do kind of plan and go on and do races here and there throughout the week. And I know Zandvoort is quite a popular choice to just pop on to for a little race, I guess. So yeah, quite. Where is
Clemson and everyone? I'm like looking now, I'm looking at my list and thinking, where's
Clemson didn't do the first rounds either of this series.
Steve?
Steve did, but no Steve's this time.
I thought Clemson was. Oh no, I think Clemson was in the practice one we had because I was having some battles with him at Hungary.
Yeah, he was in for that, but hasn't joined any of the live stream ones this time out. Yeah, we seem to get people kind of drop in and out as we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty good for Danny. Just walking straight, just as I was saying, walking straight in. Sat on and then got a good lap in. That's pretty good. That.
Yeah, that's good to see. I think let's go on board then with somebody at the front end. So Dorkman's in the pits at the minute. Dom's still out there trying to set a lap in P2. Perhaps we go on board with Dom. Again, if anyone's just joining, give you a chance to sort of see the track from driver's eye view level. Facing forward now, there we are. Oh, a little bit of rear end sliding there as we come through. It's fun, when stuff like that happens, it always reminds me just to say that actually we were saying about the interface within this game at times, but it's the same for Ben, who's directing all the cameras. You know, he's got to operate within this interface. It's why you sometimes see it kind of jumping from car to car or back and forth. So, bit of inside grass there. Right, we're starting our lap. You can see actually Dom backed right out there, so rather than going to the pits and have to do a full out lap and start again. Charlotte's smiling in my ear or something, I'm not sure what. Rather than back out and go for a full kind of out lap and have to start again, he backed off, pulled the tyres off a little bit at the end of that lap, and then just hit it and started for this lap, going flat out again. So we can't actually see his onboard delta because of the type of view that we're using, but
give me one sec.
We will soon find out whether he's up or down.
I think again, though, that shows the experience, doesn't it? He knows that, right, okay, that lap's not going to be the one. Let's cool the tyres down, as you said, Mackenzie, reset, and then go and bang the lap. Set up. He's already got a lap in as well, is what we need to make, know at that point. He's already on P2. There's still people that are in here at the moment. I'm looking at P16 and 17 at the moment. They haven't put a lap in, and we've got 3 minutes left of qualifying. And I think this is one thing that I think we find in qualifying a lot is the people that tend to be at the top end of the grid bang their laps in first and do them early on, and then they've kind of secured a good grid position, and then they can build on that, and kind of the pressure's off almost.
Yeah, I was just going to say I saw Baptista's joined again, and then he's moved up into a pixelated portion of my screen. I think P10 at this point in time. So he's back with us. Rodriguez is in there as well. Murray's in 8th at the moment. Melvin, another strong bit of pace, in 7th. So you've got Danny Price, Melvin, and Murray, who will be competing in the championship close together at the moment in those positions. Around the mid-pack. Curran still in P3, Stallman still P2, and Bjorkman currently on provisional pole. So, yeah, that was a strong lap from Bjorkman then.
I mean, half a second up.
Yeah, I mean, I've not been watching him solidly, but every time I look at his name, it's got the little P to say that he's in the pit next to it on the end. So I think he's almost potentially just sat back, chilling after that one, got himself an ice cream. Done a Kenny Raikkonen.
Yeah, it's a pretty substantial gap, but Stallman's just got himself nearly 3/10 up quicker this lap, so if he can keep it up, he was definitely going to close that gap down.
Interesting, yeah. So the man we're on board with gets a little bit of oversteer there. You see he has to correct the car and steer the other way, but we're coming to closing stages of the lap, a few corners to go, a bit of a... Oh, yeah, there we are. Commentator's curse strikes again.
Gutting, that is. I've had that so many times on a real good flying lap, and just the very slightest mistake, and it just throws the whole lap away, and it is very disheartening when that happens, but yeah, you just have to carry on with it.
Brush yourself down and crack back on again.
Exactly.
So at the moment then, Dom will potentially get one more lap, which he's shaping himself up for. So what do we reckon, gang? Charlotte, do you think one more lap, can he do it?
I'm not going to doubt him at all. We'll see. Half a second a lot of times going back.
Quite a lot to find. He was 3 or 4 tenths up.
He was just over 4.5 tenths up just before he got his oversteer. So he's definitely got the pace to take to Bjorkman. It's just whether he can get that lap in and yeah, just do his usual Don trick and just keep it, well, textbook performance basically. Oh, he's not doing this lap. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh. Again.
You can tell he's really pushing. Hopefully he's not listening to me. I'm just like cursing him as he's driving.
Don't worry, we've done it to everyone at some point.
Including you.
Yeah, including you. So you take your moment.
Yeah, enjoy being on the other end of it for once. It is funny how that happens. Right then, so there's Curran then. Looks like he's on a fast lap if I ever saw one. That car kind of just bouncing around over the bumps. Going to cross the line. And he'll get to go again, actually, because there's 16 seconds left. So although the clock will soon hit 0, because he started a lap with time in hand, he gets to finish that lap. So one more then for Michael Curran.
Danny Price. Sorry, I was going to say Danny Price just put in a better lap. He's just crawled up to 5th.
Look at that. Danny Price could be coming in last minute and steering the show with some solid points.
Good effort.
Yeah, it was a good effort. Maybe that's why he hasn't done the rain dance this time, because he's quite comfortable around here in the dry. Didn't feel the need for it.
Curran looking pretty quick. So he took a 10th off of his last lap when he crossed the line there. But he's going for another one, isn't he? You can see there you can kind of always tell by the stance of the car, can't you? It almost has a certain attitude to it when a lap's being put in. And you can see there that he's definitely not being complacent, is he? He's going for it again. So.
Is this Curran you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, Curran. I think that's a great thing about this game again, is the level of simulation that you can literally watch that and see by the way the car's squatting down and the body roll here and there. There is, that's being driven in anger to try and find a lap and extract every bit out of it.
Definitely, yeah. I watched one of the videos earlier today by one of the game developers, Aris. He works on the physics, and he was demonstrating through graphs and stuff just how much detail and scripting they've put into this game to try and replicate the way, like, for example, how the tire actually flexes and everything when you actually have steering angle on, and you have the torque effect of how the torque force tries to realign the tire back to center. It was just mad how he was showing with visual diagrams how they've actually got it to work in the game. It's just mental, that much detail.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nuts. I've seen some of his stuff and it's really, really good. Right. I'll have to cut you off there because we're going to go to our quick break before we then start the grid.
I'm going to get
And welcome along then to the final race of this evening's live stream here at InGear Motorsport, the final round of our Porsche Cup mini-series as well. Bjorkman took pole then after a bit of a point to prove after missing out on that win just one last time in that last race. Hopefully for the last time he'll be trying to make up for it. Then you've got Dominic Stallman in second place, current championship leader, Michael Curran in third place, Murray in fourth for Shiba Garage, and look at that, two Shiba Garage cars together as always. Danny Price coming in fifth, Konesko in sixth, Perez seventh, Henriks, who must have just joined in that last session, in eighth, Melvin down in ninth. Look at our position compared to last time. Rodriguez 10th, Baptista in 11th, Dalbert in 12th, John Kidd in 13th for another Shiba Garage car, Trapletti in 14th, Testi in 15th, Brian Billingham in 16th, and Liam Sharman for West Midlands Racing has made it in, rounding out the grid then. So, drivers are on the grid, ready to rock and roll. They'll be starting their formation period any moment. Last little adjustments to fuel, pressures, and any other setup tweaks that they want to do. You can see they've just made their way off now. So, The darker coloured car on your screens on the front row is Dominic Stallman, and then the sort of blue, white and red car is Robert Bjorkman, the Swedish driver, looking to make up for just missing out on that win last time. Lost the rear end grip. Hopefully, we'll have programmed a bit more grip into those rears in the later stages of the race. The nice brightly coloured car there on the second row is that of David Murray, and alongside then him on the inside in P3 is Michael Curran, as we can see. A few of the guys have the default livery, the white, yellow and red that you can see there. But yeah, top four nice and easy for us to pick apart. Looks like Bjorkman's just slightly ahead in formation at the moment. Lights will be going out any second. And there they go. So lights are out. We're off and racing. Bjorkman has got a good start so far, though. Dom looks like he's actually got a bit more of a run in terms of pace. Curran's got Murray going around the outside here into Tarzan hairpin, giving each other enough space so far. Murray now not on the grip. Curran gets better traction and manages to slot back into P3 where he started at the moment. That's left Murray a little bit vulnerable to the car behind, which was priced, but I'm not sure if it is based on that livery, so we'll check that one in a moment. And then Bjorkman away, just like last time, ahead of Stallman, although there's not two other pullers in the front of them two this time. It's Bjorkman versus Stallman off to a good start. Curran's got himself enough breathing space to potentially try and tag along this time, but going to need to find a bit of space as that gets very close there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, interesting. Dom's straight away, he knows that he needs to get in front of Bjorkman. Bjorkman kept Stallman behind a lot longer than what Stallman's used to. So you can see he's looking for a move straight away, isn't he? And as I say that, he's done that. He's gone up the inside, gone a little bit wide, and is that Bjorkman who's then going to get the run and takes it back.
Bjorkman actually then goes to the outside for the next corner, and covered up slightly by the timing screen there. The helicopter cam needs to go one higher up because I want to see what's happening with these guys up in front. It's two abreast. Stallman versus Bjorkman, Swedish versus German, coming into this sector 3 of the lap, the tight right, then left-hand hairpin, opens down to a short straight, and then I think that's potentially settled down for the time being, but Bjorkman needed to do that.
That was a bit of a George Russell or Bottas kind of move there between both of them. At one point, they were both on the outside, both made it stick and then swapped back over. But I mean, that shows the level of skill that they've got in this game to be able to race that closely together. And it is difficult in sim racing. We've seen people try and do that and come off, worse aware from it, haven't we? So seriously good effort there. Stallman's not done yet, though, is he? Look at him.
I think he knows that as he goes a bit deep into turn one, he needs to get past. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck playing that waiting game again for Bjorkman to make a mistake, which I think Bjorkman will be deliberately trying not to do even harder this time. Curran then hanging on to third, and his eyes will be nice and wide with a grin on his face as Dominic Stallman is actually getting slightly closer at the moment than what he was. Then a couple pubbers then making up fourth and fifth, but then it looks like the rest of the usual crew are closely following at the back end. Good. Just as I said that, look, Bjorkman has gone wide, and Stallman has now got into the lead. So we didn't quite catch all of that on camera, but it looks like we just lost Bjorkman there. Heath will be able to have a little look in the background and let us know from pit wall there shortly, but I wonder if there's anything that you saw at the start as well. I don't think I saw any incidents, but Kirk, was anything your end?
I think it's all been pretty clean, to be honest. There was a couple of cars running a bit wide, but I don't think there was contact as such. Looks like there's a bit of a battle at the minute between Canseco, Melvin and Price, so those three are very close. In fact, there's a bit of a train there, but yeah, looks like it was pretty clean overall, to be honest. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on the chat as well if anyone's been cursing, but I'm not seeing any of that. So
that's what Charlotte does usually.
Yeah,
pretty drama-free by the looks of it.
Yeah, little bit of shift in the order there. So you can see that Danny Price has he started, didn't race in the first race this evening. He started in P5. He's dropped back a few positions. Harry Melvin, though, again, solid start from him. So P7.
Yeah, it's a few places up actually.
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of change in order, but nothing too dramatic in terms of they all got round there fairly smoothly, I would say. So Bjorkman out in front. He's actually starting to. Stallman's out in front.
Yeah, we saw him lose the lead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm back in the room, people. I'm back in the room. So that's given Curran a nice little step up into P2 then. But Bjorkman, I need to put my glasses on. I'm struggling to see the screen here.
Yeah, it's a pubber that joined in last minute,
Yeah.
that P4, isn't it? Maybe one of the guys with nice crystal clear
Yeah.
screens. Well, I can get it. Maybe one here, maybe. Hinrichs is P4 at the moment. And yeah, we're not being completely blind. We just have a slightly pixelated commentary feed at the moment, so we're doing our best to work around that. Yeah, so Hinrichs in fourth place, Murray then in fifth, Canseco, sorry, in sixth, Melvin in seventh, Price in eighth then. So yeah, like I said, Price lost out a few places there at the start, and Murray's regained himself a couple higher up. So as we say that, though, you can see at the moment then Murray had to have that little battle just now with was it Canesco? Yeah, I think it was, having that little scrap there. But yeah, so really nice midfield battle going on. But at the moment, don't know if Curran's got an answer to Don Stallman, but hopefully he won't let him get away too much and keeps the pressure on. Heath's just having a little look in the background to see when Bjorkman lost the lead just now. And I think it was just one of those little errors where he went a bit wide onto the gravel. We saw him rejoining basically. Didn't look like he would have had any damage, so potentially got some pace to chip away and bring that gap back down. It's got still 24.5 minutes to do that. But
it's a shame to do all that hard work on the opening corners, didn't he? Made, he did get pushed around a little bit by Stallman, didn't he?
I think they both had their elbows out though.
Yeah, no, in a good way. Yeah, both had their elbows out. They did all that hard work.
So with Bjorkman, basically, sorry, I forgot which corner it is, but it's on the very cambered, the long sweeping right-hander. Looks like he just had a very, very lazy, slow slide, and obviously he's trying to correct it, but the car doesn't straighten up straight away, so it's still that momentum. It just took him wide and straight into the gravel. So yeah, not too much time lost, and no damage, pretty much, just a bit dirty tyres, and then just carried on, and got straight back into third within about 3 corners by the looks of it.
Cool. We just established as well that number 159, which is Danny Price, is running without the Sheba Garage colours tonight. That might be a server end issue, or it might be that he just didn't fancy being Sheba Garage runs tonight. I don't know, but in the full livery this train. Okay, might be a Danny Price end issue then. Or he's just going solo for the season.
Yeah, good little score there happening in the mid-pack. And again, we've sort of said this, the mid-pack over the last couple of rounds of racing, depending on what it is has started to get their elbows out a little bit more, is probably the expression that we would go for there.
Yeah, no, it's quite a good little scrap. You can see Murray's got his mirrors absolutely full with Rodriguez, with Melvin at the moment. And Melvin, we know, is able to race quite firmly but fairly, and Murray's not afraid to have a little tussle here and there either. So, yeah, definitely could shape up quite tight between this lot. So we ride on board then with number 159, Danny Price at the moment, looking to try and recover a couple of places that he's lost in the opening few laps. On the back of the black car, Melvin, Murray in front of that and his teammate.
Yeah, Melvin's getting the cheapest average at the moment.
And then Canesco just that little bit further up the road in front of the two. We've got to keep an eye on that Curran gap and that Bjorkman gap, and where they are relative to Stallman, so we don't miss out on the action.
Yeah, I'm keeping a little eye on them. Curran did actually pull in a couple of attempts back on Stallman, but then has dropped back off again. So Stallman's managed to increase that gap, and Bjorkman to Curran is kind of staying quite easy at the moment. So it's currently about 1.9, give or take attempt here and there, depending on what sector they're going through. And yeah, again, our timing updates for anyone that's new that's watching, our timing updates as they go through into the different sectors of it. So it's pretty accurate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty close. You just have to wait in suspense sometimes for those little bits. There we are then. We just jumped a couple further forward on board with Murray, with Melvin having a bit of a look. Kirk, sorry, cut you off there, but...
sorry, that's good. Sorry, I just actually realised there was a bit of an incident at turn 1, lap 1 as well. There was a bit of a domino effect because of the congestion, and there was a bit of contact between Kidd, Baptista and Dalbach. It caused Baptista and Dalbach to spin out. They got going again, but it looks like Baptista just DNF'd from that one afterwards. So that might be why John Kidd dropped back a bit when you saw him.
I feel a bit sorry for him because John Kidd has got caught up in every incident. So
Sorry, sorry to just jump in there. I can see here that Stallman's gone down into P3. Curran has now gone into P1. So there's been a bit of an accident there that's happened. So
bear with me.
Can we maybe just jump onto Stallman and just see that he's obviously regained position, albeit in P3. So he's only 4 tenths off of Bjorkman there. Again, we said this. They had their elbows out earlier. He's closing that gap. It was 4 tenths. It's now gone down to 3 tenths. But if they're going to squabble, that's going to give Curran a very, very good opportunity here. He just needs to get his head down. Don't make any mistakes, which you don't see him do that often, if at all, and just kind of crack on there. So, yeah, Kirk, if you can have a look at that in the background, that would be...
Yeah, Curran currently 5th in the standings. Well, he won't be actually where he scored points in that last race yet to be added on. So, yeah, I don't think quite striking distance to win the championship, but certainly P2. Equally, though, if Stallman has enough of an issue, Bjorkman, I believe, still could win the championship. With that in mind, obviously, a smaller championship this time out, but still a championship nonetheless.
Yeah.
Those points add up.
Yeah, absolutely. Bjorkman's in a bit of a tricky position here because he needs to get the hammer down to not let Curran get too much of a gap and too much of a lead. But he also needs to think tactically about defending off of Stallman. So currently it's about 7 tenths from Stallman to Bjorkman, and from Bjorkman to Curran is 1.9 seconds. So he's kind of in a kind of catch-22 situation here where he's got to kind of do the jobs from both sides, isn't he? He's got to catch and defend at the same time. So
yeah, definitely. He's looking kind of both ways the whole time. It makes it harder. Stallman runs a little bit wide coming out there. So
he's actually doing the job at the moment. So he's gone down from 1.9 off of Curran down to 1.5 and extended that lead between him and Stallman to just over a second. So he's he's doing what he needs to do, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
definitely.
Just put in there. Right, yeah. So what happened to Stallman was the complex where you have the hairpins with each other. You have the small straight. And then you have the 90-degree right-hander. It looks like he just unsettled the car by taking too much of the inside curb just as he was getting on the power, so it got him a bit of oversteer. And because he was just trying to correct it, it basically took him too deep into the corner.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, early on as well, it's so so damaging to a race. But at least he's got a chance to try and come back now. Looks like Dom's actually closed that back a tad this lap. But ultimately, like Charlotte said, they are reeling Curran in at the moment. So we're going to have a nice little top 3 battle coming up, hopefully in the closing stages. Although it has seemed lately the way it goes is that the front 2 just kind of part ways like Moses parting water. But hopefully we get a nice free car scrap towards the end of this.
I'm still amazed. So I was going to say, I was just amazed like how there's still so much of a train, pretty much from Canseco onwards.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at that then. Jump onto the... Oh, actually,
I'm just going to interject here because Stallman has closed that gap down. He's all over the back of Bjorkman at the moment, so he's only 3 tenths off. Yeah, so let's stick with that for the time being. But this is good for Curran at the moment. Curran just needs to...
Yeah, he'll be pleased to see them battling in the mirrors.
Let them have a squabble between them for a few corners. That's what he'll be thinking.
I've just seen Kids just gone wide on the same corner that Bjorkman did. I'm not sure if that was self-inflicted or not. I think he just carried too much speed and went too wide. I've also noticed that Melvin actually has some damage to the front of his car, so I might just try and have a look, see how he's got that damage.
Yeah, he was quite close to Murray earlier on, so it could be that. And meanwhile, though, folks, we're sticking with this battle in the fight for second place at the moment, but equally chasing down the leader of Michael Curran as well. Look how much time they took out into Tarzan hairpin there. Although, as I say that, Bjorkman then runs wide, is now running 2 abreast with Stallman into the next complex, but that's a very bad place to be 2 abreast, and Dominic Stallman knew that and just backed out, I think.
Dave's taking chunks out of Curran there. I'm not too sure what's happened there, whether maybe he's got distracted seeing this battle kind of go on in his rear mirror, or he's starting to struggle with the tyres then. But they just took a massive lump out of that.
Yeah, they've kind of just given themselves a bit more breathing space between each other again after it got very close there for a second. Dom potentially be able to take another run at him now and try again, if he carries on that pace. But it seems like Dom's just lit up a little bit, and Bjorkman's still fast, but yeah, not quite that sort of urgency that you had beforehand. Dom going a bit wide there on entry. Is he trying to sort of position himself for a better exit onto this next straight, perhaps? Don't know if it's going to be close enough though. Still,
definitely what he was going for there, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, you can just see him thinking about how to line himself up for a move. I mean, look at he did get a better exit. And if you're watching along in chat then tonight, do say hello, do comment, let us know that you're still watching. It'd be great to hear what people think and who your money's on for the race. And also, it is that time now where we can start taking votes for driver of the day. So whoever gets the most votes in commentary, just have to type their name in the chat wherever you're watching, and then they will get a vote. Whoever gets the most votes will get an additional Drivers' Championship point. So do get voting on that as soon as you can. Tell your friends, get them in here, rally the troops. That's what people seem to be doing lately.
All right, yeah, just worked out how Melvin got that damage. So at the start of lap 7, looks like Murray was trying to put a late-minute lunge upon Canseco. He got a bit deep into the corner, made contact, and then Melvin was just wrong place, wrong time for that.
Okay, so yeah, nothing, no fault of his own as such, but yeah, unlucky.
So yeah, Murray will have to watch that one. I mean, like, I can't say nothing because I nearly did the same and I got away with it, so no warnings this time.
Well, again, look, everyone, it's getting really close, isn't it? Second and third, Dominic Stallman and Bjorkman absolutely going at it at the moment. Curran's just kind of going to be watching in his mirror, almost, just waiting to see what's going to happen. Are they going to reel him in and then he's going to join that fight, or are they going to start battling too hard before they get there? I think Dom is borderline just sort of tucking in at the moment in the toe of Bjorkman to let them catch Curran first, and then that keeps first place in play as an option. If they scrap too much now, they'll drop back, the leader will get away, and then they won't have that opportunity to go for a race win later on. So I think some pretty smart driving going on at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. This reminds me a little bit of cadet racing in karting, where they would all kind of work together, and then on the last couple of laps, it would just be full-blown carnage of the train of like 20 of them all attached to one another. But, it's clever driving. It's what you learn from a young age. And as we say that, he's just gone underneath Bjorkman there, but
Bjorkman has to concede.
Yeah.
And that's happened a couple of times. He's just gone a bit deep, and then Stallman's gone, thanks very much. On this occasion, I will have that, and carry on through.
It's definitely not over yet, though. Bjorkman will go for a move somewhere else. I think they've both got parts of the track where one's slightly stronger than the other, so it keeps the battle alive, absolutely.
Oh, there's 3 cars, P8, 9, and 10. So that's Tripletti, Melvin, and Murray. They're all very nose and tail with each other. It's a very heated battle there. They're that close you could put a blanket over them, but 2 into 1 just won't go.
Yeah, so Murray, just looking here on the timing board, Murray's a tenth off of Melvin there, so it might be worth us just jumping back very, very quickly to have a look at that very briefly.
Yeah, definitely. Murray's actually just been flashing Melvin.
Look at this.
And that's allowed Dell back to catch him as well with all the squabbling going on. So yeah, it's definitely been very heated. And Melvin's been, you can see there, Melvin has been applying that pressure for nearly a full lap. And he just slipped straight on through as Tripletti went wide.
Just trying to figure out where Danny Price is. He must have got a little bit ahead of this pack then earlier on.
So Danny Price is currently in P4.
Yeah,
let's just jump back onto Stallman, Bjorkman, soon to be Curran battle, because you can see that Stallman's now only 3/10 of the Curran. So this is going to all get
great battles going on.
Very busy, very quickly all the way through the grid, I think, by the looks of things.
I'm not seeing splits show up next to Kid's times or Liam's times as well. So good just to know if they're still running.
Yeah, Kid's still going. He's just gone round. I'll just check on Liam as well.
Oh, there it is, yeah. Good, don't forget everyone, driver of the day votes. If we don't get any, no one gets the point. If someone wants to vote, just type the driver's name of your choice and they can get a championship point.
Yeah, Liam is actually still circulating. And in fact, he's just ahead of the top 3 lead battle, so this could really be interesting, as traffic can so affect a battle.
Yeah, I think I just saw him actually cross the camera screen on our stream here, as these guys came into shot. So still, Curran leads this race then with 10 and a bit minutes on the clock. Dominic Stallman fighting to get back into the lead then in P2, or get the lead again and win the race again, I should say. And then Bjorkman currently having to settle for P3 after starting pole for this race. Again, just that little mistake. And I think I just saw Liam out on the gravel, probably getting out of the way, deliberately going. And there he is, the green Porsche in the background.
Well, that's one way to solve the issue, I suppose. Oh, Curran, massive oversteer.
Oh! Curran, just gone wide. Has to now wrestle the car to try and hang on to the inside line. It's now a drag race down to turn 1. Curran's going to have the inside line. No, he's not, because he's had to tuck in.
Clever though, he's tucking back in.
Yeah, bit of slipstream, and then thinks, right, okay, can I have another stab at this? And there he is. Dom Stallman gets himself back into the lead again. After that, just little mistake by Curran. Again, it's that clinical precision that's just put him back in this lead, in the lead of this race. The other two have had incidents and lost time. He hasn't, and here he is back in the lead again. This is what you need to do in these cars. It's so easy to make mistakes as well. Okay, while they're just sorting themselves out, shall we just check back in on that mid-pack battle?
I was just about to say, ever since the train was happening, Canseco, ever since he managed to pass Tripletti, he has just left them for dust, and he's really getting on and putting the hammer down now. He's trying to catch Price if he can and take some of that time out of him. So
that is, Tripletti on the screen. Murray is somewhere up the road ahead of that. He was battling with Melvin before. Not sure if that's still the case. So we jump one car higher up, please, Mr. Race Director. There he goes.
Looks like the gap to Canseco and Price is about 5 seconds currently, so he's definitely going to be trying hard to fight through that.
Yeah, okay, so Canseco potentially going to be in striking distance in the closing stages then, like you say. Just again, if anyone's kind of dipping in and out of watching, then don't forget, we are taking driver of the day votes in the chat wherever you're watching. Just type the driver's name of your choice, they can get an extra championship point. Currently, nobody's voted, so there is an opportunity here to get a vote in, as Murray's then going on the inside of Melvin. Touches door panels there, but that was based off a little bit of slide. Melvin then potentially got the position, but has to tuck in behind there. Yeah, we actually called it earlier about there being, these two both happy to race quite hard, but I'd say fairly a little bit on the aggressive side there, but he was sliding and had a little bit of a bump of the door. But I think Melvin will be ready to have another stab back at him after that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Melvin, you can see that he drives hard enough and close enough that it's enough to throw someone off. He can apply that pressure consistently to kind of almost wear someone down. They're very, very close in pace, aren't they, these two? So it does make for really, really good racing.
I just saw the front of Melvin's car twitch then. I think he went in a bit later on the brakes and was worried he was going to hit Murray, and just had a little bit of a twitch, went to open the steering, potentially to avoid him, and then managed to stop it enough that he didn't have to.
From watching him on the last couple of laps, and again from last, I think he's almost happy for the car to be a little bit out of shape. He's happy being on the edge.
It certainly looks it. Just to say, Melvin, he does seem to have a bit of connection issues sometimes. I have seen him warping around the tracks, and that might have been to do with the twitch that you saw.
Okay. Yeah, quite possible. Right, again, just keeping an eye on these gaps. Looks like Stallman's got himself a little bit of breathing space, doesn't it, after getting into the lead. Curran still second, Bjorkman still third at the moment. Hasn't been able to get himself past the team, but not far back. So we might see that change soon. But yeah, Melvin, I think just shaping up to have another go soon, getting past Murray, isn't he? We'll see what he can do. It was particularly into turn 1 that he got quite close. So yeah, we'll see. Look at that, getting very, very close now, coming round to the last corner then. Melvin looks like he's got a good traction so far. If he can get a good run out here, as Murray goes a tad wide, potentially we'll have a chance to go up the inside into turn 1. But let's just see what happens. Here we go then, tucked in behind. If you're the car following, then you get a bit of slipstream because the car in front is punching into the air first. You don't have to have as much drag and you can follow that little bit closer. Not close enough this time. And you can see it's quite a fast, big hairpin, the Tarzan hairpin. So it's not the easiest to overtake, as we were saying earlier, but one of the places that's been seeing some action tonight so far.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those corners where you've pretty much got to be along the side the other car that you're trying to overtake. Trying to lunge there, but like you say, it's a harsh braking zone, but at the same time you still carry quite a bit of high speed through the corner, so it's very tricky. So you've got to make sure and be fully committed. Looks like Melvin just went a bit wide there through the gravel.
Yeah, so just lost himself a bit of time with that one, like you say, and actually lost a little bit of rear end grip for the next corner. So, as always, making a mistake twice for that little one there.
Here's his favourite saying there.
Yeah.
We haven't spoken about Danny Price too much over this, but you know, credit where it's due. He's come into this. The guys have all got one qualifying and one race under their belt already this evening. He's come in straight away. He's put himself into P4. You know, we probably should recognise that he's, you know, okay, there's a bit of a gap between him and Dortmund, but he's put himself in the right position there. Yeah, good effort.
Yeah, no, definitely he's done well. Again, still no driver of the day votes as we're entering the closing stages of this race. If you comment a driver of your choice for the vote, then they'll get one. I see Daz has complimented Schoolman on YouTube. Is that the driver of the day vote from you, Daz? Or just a nice compliment. As we see Melvin going Tokyo Drift there into Tarzan hairpin. Nicely held, actually, but not going to do his rears any good. Definitely got a bit hot a couple of laps ago, and he's now playing the price, trying to hang on.
Oh no, Murray's just binned it into the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, but again, Melvin's all over the place, so he's actually tucked in behind Murray.
Yeah, so Murray's just had enough. Melvin's got red hot rear tyres from attempting Tokyo Drift around the last few corners. So it's a recipe for disaster, this one. Let's see if the two can manage to keep it all together in one piece.
But straight away again, Melvin's just like a pit bull terrier right onto the rear of Murray. He's really chewing at him. He's right under him.
That was the sheet of paper between them, I would say, if that.
Definitely.
Oh, Murray loses it, goes wide, and Sharman's getting out of the way there as well, and that then means that Melvin jumps up into 8th place and Murray down into 9th. So still both in point scoring positions, but that was hard fought by Melvin. After a couple bad laps, he ended up inheriting 8th.
That was seriously good racing there by him. That was clean. It was aggressive. It was clean, but yeah, impressive.
Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, impressive.
I think that was racecraft coming into play a little bit. Something builds up over time. Like I was saying, that previous experience, sim racing probably helping him out a little bit.
Yeah, just we'll stick with this battle, but just to kind of again acknowledge the front of the grid. Yorkman has dropped off a little bit off of Curran. There's now just over a 2-second gap between position number 2, so Curran and Yorkman. So he had raw pace at the start of this, didn't he? Seems to have dropped off a little bit. That could be tyre pressures or
car off in the side of the track there.
Yeah.
Sorry, just
yeah. No, I just see that in the background as well. Curran now, so Stallman again put the hammer down. He's 2 seconds off. So the top 3 have all got 2 seconds between them. So it's kind of fairly evenly matched at the moment. I'd say that's probably settled down for the last little bit of this.
Look at that, James Finn shouting out Sophie Orchard. She's not racing today, I'm afraid, so you can't give her driver of the day vote.
Yeah, I'm guessing like Bjorkman was probably very conscious of his tyres from the last race, so perhaps he's backed off just a little bit to try and save his tyres and get the most out of them before they totally cliff off their performance window before the end of the race. Looks like also the gap's pretty much stabilised between Price and Canseco, so it looks like Price has pretty much secured P4 at this point.
Yeah, no, good run for him for his first race of the night, like we're saying. So he's done pretty well out of that one. But yeah, no, we're just shouting out YouTube chat. We've got James Finn over there, so I know you're not seeing that, but
Tell Sophie to look at her phone, so I've just sent her a puppy update.
So the live stream's not here to communicate to your friends, you know?
Well, I'm female, I can multitask, so don't be jealous.
Right, 1 minute left on the clock. So Stallman will be starting his last lap any moment now, looking to seal the deal. It will be 4 out of 4 race wins. And like we said, this didn't come easily either. He's not done it yet. There's only 1 lap to go. So another really strong effort from him. But I'm not really sure if anyone's going to have an answer to it with a lap to go, unless he makes some kind of mistake. It's looking pretty good. Murray's still looking a little bit dangerous for Melvin there, but I think again in a lap, Melvin just needs to put a half-decent lap together and he'll hang on to that. So we're just trying to keep an eye out, see where the gaps are.
Yeah, I think
these two.
One last reminder, we have had a driver of the day vote for Stallman. We've had an attempted driver of the day vote for Sophie, who's not actually racing. But if you were, Sophie, I'm sure you would win the driver of the day vote.
I mean, that's debatable. I've definitely been in a car with her a few times, but hey ho, yeah, and just I think movement here. Bjorkman, he's dropped off another second off the current now, so I think it's pretty safe to say that final top 3 was kind of decided in the last lap, and no one's doing anything stupid there, are they?
And again, it's mistakes that have cost people wins, isn't it? It's not pace, it's mistakes. And I say to people all the time in the early days of this, pardon?
It's not pace, it's mistakes. We had that sort of
pace, mistakes.
That's right, yeah. Consistency has definitely been the king tonight. And I must be doing a bad job because I've not heard Polly much tonight at all, apart from the start. So I don't know if she's fallen asleep or what, and not got any voting for Danny Price. I'm surprised by that one.
Well, maybe he upset her before he came on stream and she's not voting for him. So
it might be because he's not wearing the livery. That might be why. Punishment.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, Neil's definitely not going to come on and vote. There's no livery there. And right, let's jump on to D-Storm, and then before we think about taking the line. Oh no, she's just commented on YouTube saying she's here. She heard you. So then here he is, number 92, Vegas in performance driver, Dominic Stallman, rounding out the last few corners of this lap. Just a couple of corners between him and 4 straight wins. Hard fought wins at times, and as we were just saying, really relied on consistency the whole way through, and just making those laps count, not sticking it off into the grass or the barriers. Rounds out the last corner and then comes across to take the checkered flag then for race 4 and the championship. Dominic Stallman has done it again, taken the Porsche Cup Mini Series then. Can't seem to be stopped at the moment. I thought we had a couple of strong contenders this time, but they just couldn't quite get the job done.
Sorry, it's very, very heated between Melvin and Murray again. They are very close, just going into like the last 4 corners.
Here they come then. So black car being Melvin and the multicoloured car being the Shiba Garage car of Murray. Yeah, Murray looking like he fancies a bit of a go there into the the final sector here, doesn't he? So we've got 1 corner left after this, and it's the long right-hander. He's gone a bit wide there, so I don't know if he'll be able to do much. He'll be relying on Melvin to go a bit wide now as well. Takes a lot of curb, trying to get as fast an exit as he can for the drag race up to the finish line. This is for 8th place or 7th place at the moment. These two are fighting over. Rodriguez up the road takes the line for 6th, and Danny Price also came home in 4th.
Oof.
Melvin hung on to that. Good battle though.
Yeah, it was really to the end.
Yeah, well called on that one. And John Kidd just outside the points again.
That is unfortunate. But yeah, big shout out to Liam as well. You know, he's totally unprepared, but he must have just had the racing bug just watching it. I do it myself sometimes, watching the real racing, and you think, you know what, I fancy having a go rather. So yeah, you just jump on and just get on with it. So yeah, he's done alright. Obviously, it's coming last, but with no preparation, it's what you can expect, really. Unless like you're an alien. Alien drivers, as we call them unofficially. Those are usually people that are not aware. They're just like the people that are just like stupidly fast, like they just turn up and then they just absolutely dominate everything, and like no preparation, and they just go off into the sunset, not to be seen again.
To see some people doing some nice skids and having some fun off track there. Well, that was quite a lot of action, wasn't it? All kind of happened at different stages. We had that multi-car train the top three, and then the middle sort of 5, 6, 7, all battling it out at the same sort of time, which was pretty impressive. So it looks like then, thanks to Daz, Stallman is going to be driver of the day again. So he's literally taken every single point that was on offer for this series. You sort of having that Lewis Hamilton effect you were describing earlier on. Yeah, a few cars sort of moved out of the way and gave him that first win, or certainly gave him the lead. He had to convert it. But he does do it. He does, every time he gets those opportunities, he makes them stick. You could argue Curran got an opportunity to get into the lead there, and just a little mistake then cost it again on the other end. So who would, I mean, we're not voting for driver of the day, but Charlotte, who would you go for?
Yeah, I think it would have to be Stallman, wouldn't it? Just because it wasn't his to have, and he made it his. You know, Yorkman did have the outright pace in qualifying and the start of the race, but there was some hard racing going on. So yeah, for me, Stallman. I hope Yorkman comes into the next series, because I think it's all starting to level up a bit, and I think we definitely need to keep an eye on Curran.
Yeah, getting quicker and quicker.
He's getting quicker every time. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just thinking before I go to Kirk, I might grab Liam before in case he disappears off again, so we can have a little chat with him. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to chat with Curran as well at some point.
Yeah, I was looking for that, but Curran's not actually in the Discord at the moment, so I can't put him up for interviews. So yeah, I'll pull him up and we'll have a really quick chat and then wrap things up. So here he is then, Mr. Liam Sharman. Welcome to Commentary Box.
Hello.
It's all right, no penalties to have for you there. Well, just a quick one. How was that race for you, Liam? Joining in last minute.
Bad. Is the easiest answer to that.
What did you think of the track and car?
I love the track. I'm just not used to the car. I've never driven that car around that track. I do like the track though, so eventually towards the end I was slowly getting it, but then just losing the back end every 5 seconds. I couldn't keep the heat in the tyres.
Yes, not an easy one. And I saw you getting out of the way for the drivers as they come around the leading pack as well there.
Yeah, I joined their chat and just said, dudes, if you're coming up behind me, I will move. And
what was you say? Were you building castles then, or what?
I did at one point. I got stuck in that sand pit on that last, forgot the name of the corner. But yeah, that was quite funny. I was just saying, I'll wait here for you boys, I'll let you go past. And just watched them all. But yeah, it was good fun. It was nice to get back behind the wheel. I've been absent for over a month with work.
Yeah, you've actually missed out on a few races, haven't you? So it's nice to kind of have you jump back in again.
Yeah, and talk to some of the new guys.
Yeah, it's good. We've got a couple of new ones. I know that Harry's on there. Was Ryan on there at all earlier on?
I'm not sure about Ryan, but Harry's been hiding in his own little box, so I don't know what. I haven't actually had a chance to talk to him.
Cool. Right, well, good stuff. Thanks for having a quick chat. I'll drop you back down in the Discord and then we'll catch up with you after.
Thank you.
Cheers, dude.
See you later.
All right, yeah, Kirk, just I guess quick roundup of your thoughts on that one as well.
Action-packed, that's for sure. This was very reminiscent of one of the rounds of the Porsche Carrera Cup GB. You know, you get tight, twisty tracks, you know, a bit technical in a lot of places, and like you said yourself, pretty much, you usually have like your leader bunch. They're like usually in like the pro categories, and then you have battles everywhere else. So yeah, it was absolutely great to see the driving tonight, and then the fact it had nearly 8-car train, that's probably the highlight, and it was very close quarters, but mostly it's been incident free as well, which has also been good to see. Going back to earlier, I think Corrin gets my vote of the day because again, he's just usually one that slips under the radar. It's not always on pace with the top 3, but yeah, he did a really good go tonight. He gave it really good, so yeah, he's been my driver of the day for me. And obviously, runner-up goes to Liam just for turning up and giving it a go.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. We'd like to see people, you know, kind of like you say, see it happen and go, do you know what, I fancy joining in. And that's kind of what we're all about. It's literally open to anyone. So anyone that's watched along tonight, you know, you're welcome to come join us anytime. As you see, we use blue flag rules and things for newer drivers, and but otherwise everyone's in the same race on the same bit of track and has the same opportunity. So it's all open for people to join. Just start by joining our Discord. The links are around on the various channels that you see. And we have other races coming up very soon. So the next one is on the 22nd of December. That's the start of our Italian Winter Series. So that'll be at Misano, and it's Italian cars, Italian track. So free track championship. So every other week from that point onwards, and a nice chance just to get involved and have some racing with, as you can see, friendly drivers, nice community of people, and everyone, for the most part, racing pretty nice and fairly as well.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Yeah, we'll be heading out in the Hurricanes for that little series. So nice screaming V10s all over the track. That'll be nice.
But yeah, Kirk will be back joining us on track. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully we can do this again more. It's been really helpful having you kind of in that sort of role, helping get us the other information and stuff in the background. So thank you for the help with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
very
Yeah,
much.
it's actually been such a blast. Again, just changing things up, and it's actually been quite fun having like an overview rather than actually just being in your own little box in the cockpit. So yeah, whatever comes
Trying
up,
to track it.
give it another go. Yeah.
Yeah, good
You'll
stuff.
be back.
Yeah. Obviously Charlotte as well. Thank you for always giving up your Tuesday night to be here.
It's a pleasure. Christmas present better be good.
and of course Mr. Race Director in the background as well. If he's not fallen asleep after crashing out after his monster.
Too much
Drop
monster.
off.
Yeah.
He's gonna be up for the next 14 hours, or the monster is going to. He's got an IV drip now, probably.
Probably. Yeah, on that note, yeah, thanks again, everyone. Thanks for everyone watching, and we'll be back, as I say, 22nd December. So don't speak to you before. See you then. Thanks and bye for now.
Cheers.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot like the prodigal son.
There we go. Green lights, and we're off once again.
And a right team grip. With another man, and what you right and slip. Schwartz is gone.